Hi, you guys. Okay, so I just got home from my liver biopsy, and if you're new here and you're just dropping in, something you should know about me. I'm very dedicated to my YouTube channel and to my viewers, and I try to always be very honest with you guys. So, my neighbor just dropped me off, and thanks, Kenny and Sue. You know, if you're watching, yes, I'm gonna buy you lunch whether you want to or not. So, they picked me up from the hospital, and literally, like I don't know, a half an hour ago, you guys, I just sat and relaxed for a little bit, and then I just wanna tell you about it. Um, what my experience was. But now, if you've been around for a while, my Mad Pack, my supporters that really helped me through my initial pancreatic cancer, 9 months of chemo and all that. We'll talk about it. For the new people, maybe we'll see. But those of you that know me, um, you guys, this big piece of gauze is just really bugging me. They said don't mess around with the sutures and stuff, but I just want to. There's a great big piece of gauze under here that's driving me crazy. Okay, so that's it. I'm sorry. I was going to say, those of you that know me, been around for a while, I have trained you not to believe me sometimes. Like if I am acting all like, in pain and stuff. I'm serious, you guys. After my liver biopsy, this is what they put on there. They put on a Band-Aid. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, that's all you need. I'm like, well, okay. They're like, take it off before you do a video. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So, liver biopsy, the procedure was like 15 minutes, all the prep and all the, laying around, waiting around, take off your clothes, put on your gown, make sure the open part is in the back, duh. I kind of figured that out, a couple years ago. Wah. But just laying around waiting for people. I'm on my phone, I responded to a couple of people, you guys. So, yeah, liver biopsy, easy peasy. So, and I asked him when it was all done, I'm like, it seems like when I went in for my pancreatic biopsy, that was a lot more involved. And he's like, yeah, it is. It's arthroscopic, and they go in with ultrasound and the needle and all that. Wait, hang on. Broken. Excuse me, broken. Wait, hang on. They said no cocktails today, but I'm like, whatever. So shame on me. But I'm a bad patient. Although I made everybody laugh, just so you know. I'll tell you about that later. But yeah, so my pancreatic thing was a lot more involved. There were incisions and stitches and stuff. This was just one little poke for the initial, to numb the region. Lidocaine, I think. I'm pretty sure. Not Novocaine. That's for. I just went to the dentist and I got Novocaine and So lidocaine just to numb that, and then a needle goes in, a hollow needle. Interesting. Then another needle goes in through that. That's what actually does the biopsy. That's what actually collects the samples. So he said, you might feel or hear some clicks, and I'll tell you when I'm going to do it. So he's like, okay, 3, 2, 1, here comes the click. And it's just like, boink. I didn't feel anything. So it grabbed one sample. I said, so how many samples are you going to get? And he said, well, between 3 and 5, because sometimes the lab wants more samples. So I'll get as many, so I think he said he took 5 samples. And so then those go off to the lab, and that's just right on premise, on site, And so the lab will look at it, and they'll tell him, the surgeon, whether or not they need more samples or not. And so they came back, and they're like, nope, we have enough. This is fine. We've got a quarter pound, like my pork loin. Yeah, we've got enough to do testing on. So yeah. And I asked him, how long is the needle? I was curious. The needle is that long. So, cause it's got to go in, it's gotta. So, interesting. Cause I like learning stuff, you guys. I ask questions. Do you guys ask questions like weird stuff when you go to the doctor? How long is that needle? Right? So, yeah, pulled that needle out, pulled the other needle out. I didn't feel anything. And they didn't put me under all the way. I was awake during the whole procedure. So, I mean, I could have been really annoying and, did jokes the whole time, but I decided to, let them, concentrate on what they're doing. But right before they administered the anesthesia, get this, you guys, it was fentanyl. That was one of them. There was another one, can't remember the name of it. They gave me that other one first. I don't know if that was a sedative or what, but then they gave me fentanyl for the pain. Well, there was zero pain, except for the initial little jab, for the lidocaine or whatever. But I'm used to that. So they plugged into my third nipple, my smart port, for the IV or whatever. So that was cool. And I said, so how, another question, how long do people leave these in? And she said, you know what? I just had a patient. She was 90 years old. Her smart port has been in for 30 years. I'm like, really? So, after all this is done, I can just keep it? And she's like, yeah. I said, cool, because, sometimes on a Friday night, I might feel like, and she's like, no, don't do it. I'm like, I'm kidding. So I'm on the table, and the surgeon is like, so any last minute questions? And I said, well, I kind of do have a question, and it's kind of for everybody. So if all the staff could come over here, I do have a question. It's a little bit serious, but what do you call a boomerang that doesn't come back? And they're like, a stick. And I've told you guys that one before. And they're all like, one of two things. They either laughed or they rolled their eyes. They're like, oh my gosh, let's hurry up with this guy and get him out of here. But I joke, you guys know me. I joked around with the nurses and we were laughing and stuff. And I just told them, just to be serious, you guys, thanks for being in healthcare. Because, and then we talked about, I asked them, are we getting enough nurses into, the field and kids going into pre-med, or are we kind of running short? Are we, how does the nursing pool look? And she's like, well, it's okay, but we need experienced nurses to show the brand new nurses what to do. And so I was actually on the gurney on the way to the OR or whatever. And I said, it's interesting, but I used to be on the board of directors for Augustana Healthcare here in Minneapolis. And I said, we built a brand new facility in Hastings, which is just half an hour south or whatever. And I said, we couldn't find nurses. And so we went to the Philippines And we brought over a bunch of nurses from the Philippines because that's one of their biggest exports. They've got excellent nursing schools in the Philippines. And they're like, yeah, we know. We brought a couple, we've got a couple Filipino nurses on staff and they're awesome. I said, yeah, they worked out really great. We found housing for them and got them, assimilated into the community, and we showed them where Aldi is, you know. But yeah, they worked out great. But yeah, we could not find enough nurses for this brand new facility that we built. So yeah, interesting. The Philippines, that's their export. They export nurses. And I know a handful of you are in healthcare. Carol, you're a CT tech, right? A couple others of you are in healthcare. Thank you. And I always tell the staff, any staff that I run into, I always say, you know what? Thanks for doing what you do because you're helping people all day, every day. And they're like, yeah, we know. That's why we do it. I'm like, yep, there you go. And then I told them about my YouTube channel, how, I try to provide entertainment for people that might be struggling and going through treatment or, and they're like, oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. I'm like, well, I can't do what you guys do, but at least I can, maybe if I can cheer up one person, then it's all worth it, right? And they're like, oh, that's really cool. I'm like, I know. So, uh, but so yeah, I don't know if we're gonna do anything else. I just wanted to let you know that, yeah, my liver biopsy was a big nothing burger. It was just no big deal at all. So, if you're, I don't know, recently diagnosed or something, if you're nervous about some of these procedures, it's like the technology now is amazing. So, yeah, if you're new, I'm part of the U of M, University of Minnesota healthcare system, M Health Fairview. Unbelievable technology, the skill set, the doctors, oncology, cancer treatment, the whole 9 yards. Minnesota has some of the top healthcare in the nation. Not to brag or anything, but Mayo Clinic, and I think a couple of you have been to Mayo Clinic, right? By a show of hands, anyone? Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, one or two of you, yeah, that's what I thought. So, if you're new here, this is not my typical video. I'm usually just telling goofy stories and just trying to make you guys giggle a little bit. But sometimes I get serious and talk about, what have been through or gone through. So maybe, I don't know, you guys, I want to keep this entertaining, but I might tell my story for anybody that's new, that's just dropping in here. If you don't mind, Mad Pack, is that okay? You guys have heard it 100 times, but you guys don't mind. You have nothing else going on, right? So, that was a long intro, but let's go. All right. Thanks for being here, you guys. Okay, let's go. So for the people that are new here, just dropping in, I don't know how you found the channel. This is a really small channel, and I want to keep it that way. So don't subscribe unless you really want to. It just makes me feel good. I mean, I'm not doing this for money. It's not, you will never see ads on here or anything. It's just fun. I sit down here and I feel like I'm talking to my friends, so that's what I do. But, what was I going to say? Well, if you're new here, yeah, welcome. I don't care if you subscribe, but my story is, and Mad Pack, I'm sorry, you guys can just take a nap or something, but because you've heard it before. But yeah, I'm a pancreatic cancer survivor, Um, and and I have toys that I use occasionally. That didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I survived pancreatic cancer the first time. This is like round 2 now, okay? So it's kind of creeping back into my life now. But this is just a little it's just a little thing compared to what I went through 2 years ago. And this is to be honest, you guys, this is the fourth time I've tried doing this video, but I decided to wait until after my biopsy and let you know how it went. But anyway, in a previous video, I said, you guys, my anniversary is coming up. I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer February 12th. It's the anyone? It's the 11th today. So I'm going to try to publish this today. But yeah, my anniversary, I don't know, do you do something special when your diagnosis anniversary comes around? Well, yeah. So well, let me back up for those of you that are just dropping in. And if you're still here, I'm surprised, but thank you. I can be entertaining once in a while. I don't know. But so let's back up. Well, how far do you want to go? My parents fell in love and they had me. And fun fact, when my mom had me in the hospital, the doctor slapped my mom and told her to never do that again. So yeah, I don't know. I'm here, so you're welcome. But yeah, so February 12th, well, no, before that, back up before that. And this is serious. This broke my heart. Well, now it's 12 and 14 years ago. I lost both my brother and my sister to pancreatic cancer. They both passed away 12 and 14 years ago now. Both of my siblings, I'm the youngest. To watch them go through all that ripped my heart out. You guys, if you have seen a loved one go through that kind of pain, and it was really bad, but they were, I think, stage 4. They ignored their symptoms. Weight loss, loss of appetite, weird things going on with your stomach. When you eat, it just doesn't feel like your food is digesting, because it's not. The pancreas has shut down and it's not releasing those enzymes to the stomach to help digest your food, right? And just lower abdominal pain, discomfort. Watch for those symptoms, you guys. I'm serious. But they just thought it was, and initially I thought the same thing. I'm constipated. I need more fiber in my diet. It's just, I'm uncomfortable, but they waited too long. To be honest, to be perfectly honest, I was pissed at them because they didn't go to the doctor right away like I did. Right? Can you guys relate to that at all? I was heartbroken and really angry. Right? And so and because I lost both my brother and sister, I did a ton of research. pancreatic cancer symptoms. So when I started having them, and I did, I lost a bunch of weight, which was cool, but I'm not recommending pancreatic cancer for weight loss. I'm just saying, it just food, when I ate, it hurt and it just something didn't feel right. And in fact, I was looking at my phone today while I was bored, laying around doing nothing, waiting for doctors to show up. And I'm looking back at my calendar like 2 years ago, and I was recording like how I felt, and I'm just being honest. I was keeping track of, when I did poop, and what it felt like when I ate, and I started keeping track, and it's like, okay, something is going on. I did a virtual visit with my doctor, just over webcam. It's technology. It's webcam, right? And I explained to her, yeah, both my brother and sister, now I've got these symptoms. And she's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I want you in here tomorrow for a CT scan. And I'll never forget it. February 12th, you guys, tomorrow, 2 years ago tomorrow. She came in the office and said, yeah, I'm really sorry, but it looks like it's pancreatic cancer. And the Mad Pack, you guys have heard this before, but if you're new here, the words out of my mouth were, well, okay, yeah, that checks out. Right? And I did genetic testing, and the genetic testing came back, no, it's not genetic. Well, genetic testing can only test for certain things. The technology isn't quite there yet where they can test for every, possible, do you know what I mean? So it came back negative genetic, but it's like, are you kidding? Really? You know what I mean? So, yeah, we're going to put you in chemo, do, a biopsy and a bunch of stuff. I've had 5 surgeries. Well, as of today, I've got 6. Woohoo! To add to my list. And just no segue. I got to tell you this story. I was talking to the doctor today, and I'm like, so do you remember that scene in Jaws where they're like comparing their scars, and it's like, yeah, the shark bit me in half, can't you see it right here? I'm like, well, you know what? I can beat all those guys. I have 13 incisions, and today doesn't even count as an incision. It's just a little, so, but anyway, where was I? So, yeah, so 5 surgeries, biopsy and all kinds of stuff, but 9 months of chemo. And if you're new here and if you're going through chemo, I'm really sorry. I get it, but my chemo really wasn't that bad compared to a lot of my Mad Packers out there that went through chemo and radiation and all these other, people have left comments. My Mad Pack are awesome with just sharing what's going on. So if you're new here, I would encourage you, if you want to, just a gentle prod, if you want to, leave a comment. Let us know what your status is. If you're just joining us, my Mad Pack will, and I will, go to bat for you. You will get tons of encouragement and, hugs and prayers and, virtual, sending virtual vibes and all the, cool stuff. Mad Pack, I wish I could give every one of you a hug right now. Come on over. Stop over. Well, let me clean up a little bit first, but if you're new here, I'll tell you the rest of the story if we have time, if you're still here. But so Oh my gosh, this is long, but bear with me. So, 9 months of chemo, 5 surgeries, blah, blah, blah. My chemo wasn't that bad. I wasn't throwing up in the kitchen sink like a couple of you left comments, no nausea at all. I was just tired and just weak. And, Mad Pack, you remember me telling the story how I can't even drag my garbage out to the curb. I'm that weak, And my neighbor, my sweet neighbor across the street, um, grandma and her daughter, a couple of really sweet ladies across the street. Karen came over and she mowed my front lawn for me. A lady, Karen, sorry, but I think you're in your 50s, right? Sorry, but if you're watching, but guys, it's hard for us to ask for help, right? Women have no problem with that. They're more evolved than we are, I think. I don't know. That's why women live longer than we do. Men do crazy stuff, but men have a hard time asking for help. But I got to the point where it's like, I just can't do it. I'm too weak to do it. If I could, I would. Karen came over here and mowed my front lawn. And, it's humbling. It's very humbling, but that's okay. We're all human on the planet. If something happened to them, you bet I would be over there in a heartbeat. Hey, do you want me to lift something? I've got a few muscles, I'm working on it, but it's like, do you need some help over there? I can come over there and I can help you. Right? But yeah, so my whole experience with my whole first round of 9 months of chemo, 5 surgeries, blah, 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 that was diagnosed 2 years ago. So I was in remission, I thought. All right. And I told myself, I'm going to give myself a year before I really consider myself in full remission, right? True survivor. But and I did. I considered myself a survivor. But as part of this treatment program, every 4 months I go in for a routine CT scan. And if you're learning international sign language, this is, a routine CT scan, just so you know. But they found something on the last one. Just a little, not a big, not big. It's just a little, not as big as my other one. Yeah, let's do a biopsy and see what's going on. And I'm guessing it's malignant. So both my oncologist, Dr. Shanks, he's awesome. Mad Pack, you've heard all kinds of stories, about him. It's my goal to make him laugh because he's very stoic. I was talking to the nurses today about that, and they're like, yeah, if you can make him laugh, that's awesome. So, but yeah, we're both guessing it's malignant. And why am I not all bummed out about it? Because I've been through way worse. I'm glass half full. And most of you know that, right? Man, it was like 5 or 6 videos ago. I compared myself to Tigger, right? Flouncy bouncy doo 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 doo. We're just all on the planet doing the best we can. So it doesn't do anybody any good, especially yourself, to get all bummed out. Right? I mean, that's just my personal philosophy of living life kind of thing. So that's why I have this channel. If you're new here, just adding a little bit of a little spark, a little something funny, something a little entertaining or goofy, or so for those of my viewers that are struggling, that are suffering, okay, because some of you are, and we are with you, okay? So if you're new here and if you're struggling and suffering, you have found a very supportive, loving community. Okay, so if you want to, if you feel like it, leave a comment here, and yeah, we will go to bat for you. All right. So, wow, this was a long one, you guys. I got to cut this off. So, um, if you're new here, I was going to explain this, but I'll just go back and you'll figure it out. Real quick, I'm retiring in a couple of years, selling all my stuff, getting rid of all my stuff. Who needs this big speaker? Anyone? Let me know. I won't ship it to you. You have to come and pick it up. But I'm going on the road full time in my trailer. Okay, so that's why I've got big solar panels and a bunch of electrical and this fancy Victron equipment, and I'm setting this up. Actually, fun fact, MadPack, I think I told you this, but at one point I had all this stuff hooked up to all the big batteries, and I was running my whole living room off of this stuff. Do you remember that? So there you go. Yes, I'm a geek. I love tech stuff. So I'm going to send you away. Hope you have a great day. And if you're suffering, I'm really sorry, but we are here to support you. I'm here to support you. Hopefully, if I can make one person giggle, right? That's why I do this. So it's just a hobby. I have fun doing this. Can you tell? You should try it and then give it a whirl. Start a YouTube and tell us what came in your Walmart order. Because it's a crapshoot. You never know. So anyway, hope you have a great day, you guys. I got to go, and I'll talk to you later. All right. If you're new here, I try to use my Australian accent at the end of my videos because I'm trying to make it better and better. So, all right. Have a great day, you guys. Okay, gotta go. All right, bye. Oh my gosh.